Uganda's appetite for borrowing appears gluttonous even as warning bells grow louder from nearly every corner of the economy. Latest figures from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development show that the country's public debt has ballooned to shillings 116.2 trillion as of June this year. Of this, shillings 55.9 trillion is external debt, while shillings 60.3 trillion has been borrowed domestically, pushing the debt to GDP ratio to an unsettling 51.3%. Yet even with the country edging closer to the fiscal cliff, Parliament this week waved through new loan requests worth shillings 9.6%. The leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, cautioned that Uganda is fast crossing the red line on debt sustainability. But government, however, insisted that there is nothing to worry, no danger, no cause for alarm, just business as usual.
Even today we are going to be here borrowing. Or to say, the taxman, collect this much and that kind of thing. That's why I think it's prudent that Parliament is not at the tail end, because we are always here planning together, budgeting together, because of that fiscal obligation on us as a country, and it begins here.
Civil society groups are far less reassured. The Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, CSBAG, has raised the alarm, arguing that the cost of this borrowing spree is being silently transferred to ordinary Ugandans. Taxes collected from already strained citizens are increasingly diverted to servicing loan interest, while essential public services are quietly sacrificed.
I ask about myself, I think for me is the cost of that to an ordinary person. Because if you find that the amount of URA that it collects, before it reaches your consolidated account, more than 30% of it has gone to service the debt, and you remain with a portion of 70 to deal with all other problems. That is a very serious issue. It means that the ability of government to deal with the ongoing challenges that we have are extremely very limited.
CSBAG Executive Director Julius Mukunda described the latest shillings 8.1 trillion loan approval as yet another example of fiscal recklessness, warning that borrowing has become a convenient substitute for discipline.
Even when we are borrowing, our capacity really to put this borrowing into actual usage is extremely also very limiting. Because if really you have I usually give an example of some of these roads, just a classic example. A project of 3 years takes 20 years to be finished. A project of 10 million, by the time you finish it, it is triple the amount of money. That is wastage. And to an ordinary person, that money that we are wasting on those projects, would actually have extra medicines, would have built an extra classroom, we have built another community access road.
What makes the situation more troubling is government's growing reliance on costly domestic borrowing. While concessional external loans attract modest interest rates of 2 to 3%, domestic debt comes with a punishing 15 to 17% price tag. As Mukunda notes, this choice only deepens the hole, ensuring that today's loans become tomorrow's crisis.
For every 100 shillings we collect from URA, more than 30%, more than 30 shillings go to interest rate servicing. Then you are worried. Why? Because previously your target was around 12.5%. Now it has gone high. So that's one thing that you begin to worry about.
Ironically, this borrowing appetite comes as the national budget continues to expand without a matching increase in domestic revenue. The original shillings 72.3 trillion budget was swiftly revised to shillings 80 trillion after Parliament approved a shillings 8.1 trillion supplementary budget spread across 3 schedules.
I'm predicting really for me is that these budgets that go to Parliament, like you rightly said, are just going to be ceremonial. The important budget is supplementary budget. Why? In supplementary budgeting, there is no scrutiny. How long did it take Parliament to scrutinize the supplementary budget of 8 trillion? Not even more than a week.
In the end, Uganda's debt story is becoming painfully familiar. Borrow more, spend more, reassure the public, and hope tomorrow's taxpayers will somehow foot the bill. Uganda's challenge today is not about the absence of plans, ambition, or economic growth. It's fundamentally a challenge of discipline, execution, and accountability. Without credible budgets and strong public financial management, economic growth will continue to bypass ordinary Ugandans, regardless of how strong the headline figures may appear. David Joe, NTV.